Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnetti, another Monday, Daylight Savings Times. You know, I was liking it because I was getting to work while it was light and then going home while it was light. But now I'm back to getting to work when it's dark. Now, I know that'll change in a little while, but it's just this Daylight Savings Times reminds me of the old Indian saying that only a white man would cut a foot off the bottom of the blanket, sew it to the top of the blanket, and think that he had a longer blanket. I don't know. But hey, I'm not going to tell any more stupid jokes today because I got a little bit of personal news I might share with you. I got an email on Friday. A while back, my wife and I did the Ancestry.com thing to find out about our, ancestry, racial background, ethnic background, that kind of thing. But I got an email from a woman who said, hey, I was wondering if maybe your dad and my dad were brothers because et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this was interesting because when my dad was in the Navy, think about it, back in 1945 at the Great Lakes Naval Station, there was a little story about maybe him being involved in a personal indiscretion, so to speak. But it got shipped out. It turns out that there was a young lady who did later have a child, and I found out I have got a half-sister. So that's really cool. I had a long conversation with her yesterday evening, spoke to her about half an hour, and we've been emailing and talking and sending pictures and information back and forth. It's kind of cool because she was a young woman who was an only child who was adopted by another family member. So she finally has 5 brothers and sisters who, with my family, I'm wondering when she meets us if she's going to wish she never found out about this, but no, I'm just kidding. She's thrilled. I called her sis a couple times in emails, and she said she's never been called sis before, so I thought that was cool. So just thought I'd share that with you. But look, I got a really great guest today, one of my favorite people in the whole world, and then at the end of the show, I'm going to have a little conversation with you about asking the question, what is going on with the Chelan County Sheriff's Office? But hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike Mad Dog Magnetti, stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week, we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Just as it went on the air, Steve, NCW Life is live now on Facebook.
Hey, how's about that? We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Dan Koontz, your host for the next hour.
Every weekday, starting at 7 o'clock.
Get ready for a bunch of news that's coming your way.
Here's what's happening around North Central Washington. We'll have a rundown of all your local, regional, and statewide news. You can also find more on our website at ncwlife.com. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. That's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on NCW Life News.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere. So when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Mad Dog Magnetti, and I am with one of the greatest people I know and one of the best influences on my life, my pastor, Tim Wilbur. Shake hands with me, Tim.
If I must.
Tim Wilbur is the senior pastor of New Salt Community Church. Now, what's cool is that Pastor Tim and Pastor Jerry Beebe of
Wenatchee First Assembly.
Wenatchee First Assembly of God, they're the only pastors in town who have been pastoring the same church for over 26 years now, right?
Almost 30.
Almost 30?
Jerry has made it to 30, and I will be at 30 in November.
Okay, so
we've hung around a while.
I know, you talk about guys with staying power, you know.
Yeah, we used to work together on the police chaplaincy.
They
with
did, right.
Wenatchee Police Department a long time ago.
And that's how we met.
That's how we met, Mike. That's a
story
for
we are
another time.
not telling today. Okay.
Yeah, but Jerry's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
It's been great having him around the valley for all those years.
Okay, and the reason I wanted to have you on today, now, Pastor Tim goes to India, and you have been to India how many times?
This will be my 25th time.
Oh, I was going to say 18 or 19. I didn't know it was 25.
25 times in 17 years.
Okay.
You know, there are some years I'd gone twice.
That's right, yeah.
And haven't done that in a while, but yeah, so I doubled up some years to get to 25.
Okay, now the thing that's interesting is that India is predominantly a Hindu country, as most of you probably know, 80%. Right. And about the remainder, the majority of the remainder is Muslim, but about 3%, have I got that right?
A little less than 3%.
Of the population is Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And when the British Raj moved out, when they declared independence in 1948, I believe it was, they took everything with them as far as infrastructure for training of Christian church leaders.
Yes.
Okay. So there's really nothing there now.
Well, they do have for students who are a little more affluent, they do have education. They have Bible colleges now.
Okay.
And they are accessible to a few of the leaders there, but certainly not the leaders who work in the rural areas and in the villages. They don't have much access to education or training at all.
And that is a good part of what your thrust is now.
It is. What we want to do is offer leadership training for those who, first of all, can't afford it,
right,
or who haven't ever had the opportunity to go to a training or to a Bible college because of finances or even because of educational limitations. Mm-hmm. So our goal from the very beginning when we started this years ago was to actually reach those leaders and make this accessible to them.
Are those people, those leaders that would not have any access to any other training in Christian leadership?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, why don't you give us a little bit of background to, you know, how all this started?
Well, it began with a young lady in our congregation who went off to a Christian singles thing in San Francisco to learn about how to be a Christian single and came back engaged. So I'm sure that happens quite a lot. Yeah,
success.
Imagine that.
Winning.
But she became engaged to a man from India whose grandmother had started a home for neglected widows. And in India, the widows, the old people tend to be kicked to the curb because they can't contribute anything to the household, and they become a financial drain. And so all these widows were homeless. This lady, God blessed her and showed her his favor, and she had some money. She built a home for orphans or for widows, and then that grew into an orphanage, which grew into a school.
Right.
So he would come and invite me. He would come to visit his fiancée, and then after they got married, would come visit Wenatchee. And he kept hounding me. You need to go to India. You need to go to India.
Tim. You must come to India.
Yes. and you know, we were pretty well invested in Mexico. We went there a lot, and I was actually pretty satisfied to do that. So I told the fellow, I said, okay, his name was Solomon Darwin. I said, Solomon, if you will quit asking me to go, I'll go with you one time. And I actually went. I've never gone with Solomon ever. I've never gone with the guy. But I did meet Jay Deep, who you know Jay Deep very well, and he's been here to Wenatchee to visit us, and he kind of has become one of my sponsors there when I go.
Right. Okay, so you've been going, and you've been working with a couple pastors over there, and evidently there are a few churches over there named New Song Community Church?
They're about
in the particular
250.
town. So
250 of New Song churches have, over the past 10 years, have been raised up, mainly because when we train pastors, we don't charge them anything. We even pay all their expenses to get to us.
Right.
We feed them, we house them, and so we ask very little of them financially.
Right.
However, we ask nothing of them financially, but we do ask that they go back to their church, that they mentor a couple of emerging leaders in their church. And we also ask that they go into a village that doesn't have a Christian church, and that they start a new church in a village without a Christian influence there. And so they've taken that seriously, and many of them have not only trained those 2 emerging leaders, but have started over 250 churches.
okay, now when we say church, let's explain just a little bit of the infrastructure. A church could be actually a concrete building with nice. A lot of these places put rice bags down on the floor because they all sit, crisscross applesauce.
Right, on the ground.
Floor, except for the old people like me who get a chair and that type of thing. But a church might also be an area about as large as your front porch with just a thatch roof over it that you have to duck under to get into.
Yeah, a lot of the churches are just, they call them sheds.
Right.
With a dirt floor with, like you said, the mats over the.
Yeah, and some of them are just open spaces.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that when Tim will work with these pastors and get them trained and they begin a church, they all believe their church will not flourish and grow until Pastor Tim comes and prays for them, okay? And I have seen this man get into holes 4 feet deep, half filled with water, okay, to pray with bricks laid on the bottom. I've seen him numerous times lay bricks in very adverse conditions while he's praying for these churches. I have seen pastors insist he go around the church and pray for every pillar of the church.
Put my hand on every
that's been built.
Pillar.
But there's some validity to their feelings because their churches often grow after you've been
They
there
do, and that's certainly not to my credit at all. It's just that for whatever reasons, God chooses to bless the ministry there, and a lot of churches have grown up and gone past the shed stage to the actual brick building and with a roof over it. And I think that's one of the desires of all of the people there, is that it gives a church some credibility when they have their own building, and especially among the Hindus and the Muslims, who all, they have their temples, and the Muslims have their mosque. I think for a Christian church to have their own building, it does so much for the believers, and like I said, lends to their credibility. So that's been a big part of what I do when I go there. And again, you have to give credit to God for that. That's,
sure, of course.
That's certainly not anything that I'm certainly not a builder. You've seen me lay bricks. I have no idea how to do it, but they show me. Yeah, if you want to build here in town, don't call me. I'll pray, but I'm not going to lay any bricks or anything.
Yeah, but it's just, I got the greatest respect for this guy because, it's just what the lengths he's going to go to for these people. And this is very low key. This is not glamorous by any stretch in the imagination. He flies coach, and I know other missionaries who go to different places and they're showing pictures of themselves and obviously in first class and living it up and that kind of thing. Well, Tim has probably been in more private homes in southern India than any other Christian missionary, because what he does, he drives to these places and they say, okay, Tim, service will start in 2 hours, and they bring them to their bedroom. And again, we would have to explain what that means. Yeah. And he's sitting there waiting, and that's where you eat.
That's where I eat. That's where I stay. A lot of times, because it is a grueling schedule, I'll lay down a little while before I do the seminars. The seminars are pretty grueling. We start in the morning, and a lot of times I'll teach 3 or 4 sessions during the day. We'll go to another church in the evening and have a service, then start all over again the next day. Generally, our seminars are 2 days long. They were 3 when we first started, and we realized that was just too much. We would lose the pastors and leaders on the 3rd day. So 2 days, again, the same schedule. And so even when I was young, that was a grueling schedule for me, but now that I'm getting to be this age, I need a nap when I'm not working that hard.
And remember, you know, India, we used to say when we were kids, if you dig a hole straight through, you'd end up in China. No, you'd end up in India. Okay. India's on the opposite side, and they're 13 and a half hours.
Yep, halfway around the world.
It's like right now, it's what, 10:15? It's what, 9:15 in the morning, in the evening?
It's actually the other way right now. It's
11:15?
Yeah, 11:15 now.
Okay. So rough stuff.
Yeah, it is. But you know, it's been very meaningful to me. I would say that I have benefited more from it than the people there. I feel like personally, it's been a great experience. Hillary Mann is going with me from this year from.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute because I'll take a break.
Oh, okay.
I know you want to talk about Hillary a little bit, and I want to give you time to
Wonderful
do that.
young lady.
We're going to take a quick break for some commercial street talk and other stuff. I'm talking to Pastor Tim Wilbur. He is about to go on his 25th.
Yep, 25th
trip to India, where the main focus is to help churches start and to train church leaders over there. But hey, street talk and other stuff. You stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Ron Singleton. See how Ideal Protein can help you.
I started Ideal Protein about 10 months ago. I'm down 123 pounds and a little over 50 inches.
Using Ideal Protein, I've lost 37 pounds in just 10 weeks.
I lost over 52 pounds in 4.5 months on Ideal Protein.
This has been a wonderful journey. The food is great, and it's a very easy program to follow.
This medically designed program has repeatable, safe, and effective results. Call us today to schedule your weight loss consultation.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to check out our newest show on the NCW Life channel. We call it the 12th District. Each week we'll be taking an in-depth look at various political issues that affect our area, our state, and the world. We'll be featuring local and statewide experts on the subject matter at hand. Please join us weekly for the 12th District with yours truly, Kerry Condata. Check your channel guide for times or go to ncwlife.com for details.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Hi, I'm Eric Granstrom, your host for Let's Learn here on the NCW Life channel. On this program, we take a little extra time to dive into various subjects to learn more about them, whether it's taxes, investing, death or dying, or anything else for that matter. We'll learn more about it right here. It's Let's Learn on the NCW Life channel. Come on, let's learn together.
All right, street talk and other stuff. Mad Dog Magnetti. I'm here with Pastor Tim Wilbur, who is about to, a week from today, embark on his 25th trip to India, where he'll be training Indian pastors and church leaders. And you're not going alone.
No, I'm not. I'm taking a young lady, Hillary Mann. I've known her since she was 5 months old. Grew up at New Song, and she's the massage therapist and owner at Lavender Hills Massage Therapy here in downtown Wenatchee. Does wonderful work. She's taken 3 weeks off of her business there, and she's traveling with me. She went with me last year and had a great time, and so she signed on to go with the old man on a second trip. But she's excited, and she's great. She meets people well, and the kids love her.
Oh yeah,
the adults love her.
I know Hillary too. She's a great
sweetheart.
gal.
Yeah, so I'm excited about her coming along with me.
And do they, of course, she has to speak once in a while.
Oh
and that kind of thing. So,
they want to hear from everybody. Sometimes they would, especially those who've heard me before, want to know who are these other people. We hear you all the time. Let's let them talk. Well, you know what that's like.
Yeah,
well, when you go, they want to hear from the cop who, in their culture, they can't believe a policeman could actually be a Christian. And I tell them India's not much different than America, actually. No, I'm joking, kidding.
No. One pastor's wife once asked me, "Are you a police officer?" officer. I said, did you ever beat the confession? I said, no, it's not kind of my type of police work, you know. Okay, so specifically, what's the plan for this trip as far as training in church?
When we first went, I asked Jay Deep, my good friend, what was the biggest need that we could provide for pastors in India. And it was his recommendation that we do leadership development and leadership training. And so we came back, my wife and I came back, and Shirley, my wife Shirley, and I came back, and we talked about the Willow Creek style of leadership development and some other styles. We thought that just is not a fit for India. So I came across this book called The Making of a Leader by a Chinese pastor, Chua Wee Yan, a man that I've met through the internet. I haven't met him face to face. He pastors a Chinese congregation in London, England. And this book was perfect. And so we started out using a lot of the principles from his book, and we built it from there, built it into a curriculum. Asked for his blessing on it, you know, because we're distributing some workbooks as a part of it as well. He's been very gracious to us. Sure. And this has been what's connected the most with the leaders, as we just talk about leadership, particularly from the perspective of how Jesus led people.
Right. And see, what Tim has done, he's put together, what is it, a 12-part program?
12-part, yes.
12-part program that, I mean, PowerPoints, translated into Telugu. So what Tim will do is he'll stand there and they'll, you know, the PowerPoint will be up there in both English and Telugu, if I remember correctly.
In both.
And the pastors, the leaders, literally hundreds at a time will have these workbooks, and Tim will teach on it, and someone will translate. It's, you know, it's phenomenal. It's interesting, and these guys just soak it up because, like I said, there's nothing else there for them.
Yeah, it has filled a need that has been there for a lot of years, and I believe that it was just God leading us to that particular thing.
Sure. Okay, what challenges have there been? Because I know you've had some, because India is not really all that open to, I mean, you can't go as a missionary.
No,
correct?
I don't go as a missionary. I'm registered with the government as a leadership development individual, and so I don't proselytize.
Right.
I'm not going door to door and sharing the gospel and asking people to convert. I am allowed to pray in any home that invites me in. I'm allowed to work with the pastors. I'm allowed to even preach a message from the Bible when I go, wherever I go, but I can't actually invite people to become Christians.
Oh, okay.
That's what the local people are there for, and so I leave that to them. I'm just there mainly to develop the pastors. But we have gotten in trouble from time to time. The time I took a little larger group, Don Myers was a part of that, and Jamie Johnson.
Right.
And it was before you got there. We were under house arrest for almost an entire week. We were never in any danger, but the police didn't want us to do what we had intended to do, and that was have a very large gathering of pastors come in. And the government shut us down. They kept us under lock and key right there where we stayed the whole time. So that's been a big, not a huge obstacle, but from time to time we've had the local government say, we don't like what you're doing. Even though the official government has okayed that I'm there,
so it's okay.
I'm not going to bring people into the country with me.
And there's some people that you've worked with that actually been persecuted later on after we haven't been there.
Yes, they have been. At the school that we started, New Song Community School, we run buses to pick up the children, and in some of the villages who are not friendly to our school, mainly in Hindu communities, one time after we left, about a week after we left, they stopped our bus and began throwing rocks. They pulled our driver off and beat him pretty severely. And then when Jay Deep and his father went to talk with the leaders in the village, they beat Jay Deep and Dr. Mukherjee as well.
Tough stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
tough.
We take our Christianity and our ability to worship freely in this country pretty for granted. Pastor Tim, thank you.
Mike, I love you. You know that.
Love you too.
Always
Appreciate you doing it. Appreciate you doing it. This, you know, when they talk about, have you ever met a Christian you really admire? This is the man, baby.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, but hey.
Love you, buddy.
Street Talk and other stuff. I want to ask the question, what is going on with the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, and share a little of my questioning with you when we come back. But stick around. Be back in a minute.
Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house, fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Harris.
Catch us on LocalTel Channel 12.
Watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Dear Mary Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Just as it went on the air, Steve, NCW Life is live now on Facebook.
Hey, how's about that? We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Dan Kuntz, your host for the next hour.
Every weekday, starting at 7 o'clock.
Get ready for a bunch of news that's coming your way.
What's happening around North Central Washington. I'll have a rundown of all your local, regional, and statewide news. You can also find more on our website at ncwlife.com. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. That's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on NCW Life News.
You know, twice over the years, two deputy friends of mine from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office have advised me that they were being fired or disciplined, both, each, and they were appealing these actions. And when I talked to them about what the reasonings were for, you know, taking these drastic actions against them, and they told me the reasons, I looked at them, I said, you know, wait a minute, there's got to be more than this, okay? They can't just be what you're telling me, because these reasons don't reach the level of being disciplined to the degree that you're being disciplined or actually fired. You know, I mean, I was in police work and worked in these personnel issues for, you know, a good part of the 20 years I was there. But however, these guys were telling me the truth, and they were both eventually exonerated. They both took their action out at the court or through arbitration. They were exonerated. Okay, well, those of you who've been reading the paper, recently a third Chelan County Sheriff's Office deputy was disciplined and fired only to be reinstated after appealing the reasons for her being fired, which were found to be unjustified. And this deputy also won a $500,000 settlement against the Chelan County Sheriff's Office after successfully bringing suit against them and their actions against her over the past 5 years. Now, this deputy, Jen Tyler, she established in court that the actions that the county took against her began when she testified in 2008 against a former boss, a state of Oklahoma sheriff by the name of Mike Burgess. And due to a large part of Deputy Tyler's testimony, this pervert, okay, this rapist, was sentenced to prison for, I believe, 79 years, okay? Part of the charges against him, and I think there were 29 charges brought, 29 or 39, 13 of them were proven. These included forcible oral sodomy, kidnapping, sexual battery, and rape. Jen Tyler is a hero, folks, okay? She should be treated like one. Every decent, honest police officer should applaud her for taking action against this pervert, whether or not he wore a police uniform. I mean, good heavens, okay? These are exactly the type of people we should be holding accountable. Okay, but what's going on at the Chelan County Sheriff's Office? Okay, not only are Tyler and these 2 other deputies I've mentioned that they're friends of mine, I have other friends there at that office, okay, including Sheriff Brian Burnett. You know, as friends go, I think it's time to say we need to take a look at what's going on in our agency, folks. Now, I know there's stuff I don't know. I know that's what we're going to say. Magnati doesn't know everything. Well, if there's any element of truth, which there strongly appears to be, that Jen Tyler was persecuted by you folks, disciplined and fired because of what she did in testifying, you need to clean house. Jen, you go, girl. Okay, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, Street Talk and Other Stuff. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.